Hello guys, welcome to another review, and this time we're going to talk about the racing event price if you want to grind that one, the Bulletproof. My opinion on the Bulletproof is very clear. It's the worst tier 6 premium destroyer you could ever obtain. And if you're really up to grind this ship with the, in my opinion, very boring and unlucky event of racing, then you get a ship which is basically a Z35 downgraded. And what I mean by downgraded, I'll be talking about now. Since the focus is on guns on this ship, people might be questioning why I run Furora in a torpedo setup. And reason for this is you have in the fourth row, you have the speed perk, and the legendary has the speed perk. And Bulletproof is all about speed. So basically it has the same speed like a Fantask, but it has much worse guns, it has much worse torpedoes, and an okay concealment. So basically saying really this is the worst tier 6 premium you can get. Whatever you want to spend on a tier 6 premium, any other tier 6 is better. Let me go through. So if you can get the Z35, you get the Z35. If you want a speedy boat, you get the Terrible, or better get the tier 7 Fantastic. But if you want tier 6, get the Terrible, because you have the speed as well. The only unique USP of this ship is you get a rolling smoke, the Italian smoke, but you lose the sonar of the Z35. So you cannot do the smoke sonar combination with the 5 km sonar, because if you equip the sonar instead of the smoke, you lose the smoke. And permanently installed is a speed boost of 8%. So my suggestion is go with the setup, go with the maximum speed, and this basically, the ship is an ambush ship. Having said that, it's very situational, that you get the good situations, so you can use this ambush, you can make use of the rolling smoke. Before I talk you through a game with this ship, I did a side-by-side comparison with the Z35. So as you can see, they nerfed the hit points. And the guns are the same except the HE damage, which has been nerfed by 10% exactly. The rest is the same. And also the torpedoes have been nerfed quite drastically. The range has been decreased to a base of 6 km, and with Furora I use the range extender, so I get 7 km range. The speed has been buffed of the torpedoes to 74 knots compared to 69, and the damage has been nerfed, so it's about 2000 HP less damage compared to Z35. AA is the same, and maneuverability is improved, so you get a little better rudder shift and you get 5 knots more speed. And concealment has been nerfed, so Z35 has 5.0 and Bulletproof has 5.2 with the very same captain setup. So all these stats have Furora in the very same setup, so you can really compare the difference here. In mod slot 1 I use the turret traverse, which is the only thing which is a little bit different. In 2 I use propulsion, in 3rd I use concealment. Like I said in the beginning, I strongly believe, because of all the downgrades, that this destroyer has very weak guns and very weak torpedoes. You better take the Z35 or for speed a different. In my opinion, it's the weakest tier 6 premium destroyer. But anyways, it doesn't mean it can't do its job. It needs very specific situations, and in this game I encountered some, or I provoked some of these situations, and yeah, let me talk you through what we do here, and you can see what this destroyer can do. So get me right. I'm not saying this destroyer cannot perform at all. It can. If you're skilled and if you have the right situation, you can have good games. But when I'm saying a destroyer isn't as good, I mean he isn't consistently as good. So taking the average game, if you play 100 games, you will have 5 or 10 record games in this ship, but 90 will be garbage. And other destroyers, you will have 50 record games or 60 and 30 average and 10 garbage. So the amount of games, of less performing games in this destroyer, in my opinion, will be very high. So if you ask me for my advice, if you should spend any money or grind your ass off, not really worth it. If you have any DD, every DD, and you're looking for something new, okay, maybe you want to go for it. Like I did, I purchased the ship. But that's just me. I'm into DD, so you know me, and yeah. But probably I wouldn't buy it a second time. So that's my thought on this one. So initially, we don't want to go to B. We want to be open because there's a carrier in game, and we need to find out where the carrier is. And then we turned back to B because we saw B was about to be captured, and now we're running the rolling smoke and shooting the Fantasque because by going on with 51 knots, the Terrible, not the Fantasque, the Terrible cannot aim its torps at us and cannot shoot us, so this is the perfect situation. The enemy DD cannot smoke up, you're in rolling smoke, you just keep engaging because I had my Akatsuki spotter out there, the other destroyer. Which got killed during the engagement. And now I'm thinking if I should go into B, because there's still another DD and we have a Gade here. So since my back guns are turning to the right, I'm make a left turn again because I want all 5 guns, and obviously I'm planning to use my torpedoes, but I hold them back because obviously the Gade will move left and right. I need to figure out what's his direction, and then we release the torpedoes and move out. And also we're using AP because the AP is really good in the German destroyers. It's 3000 HP. Yeah, HP per bullet. So the German HP is very strong against broadside cruisers and against destroyers if you catch them, let's say at a what is that, 70% angle. So let's say not directly from the front but from the side, and so that the bullets really can detonate. So what we're doing now is we're going after the carrier, the plane's coming after us, but due to our speed, we're trying to close the gap. We try to stay concealed, so that's why the anti-air is deactivated, and I'm ready to activate it any moment. So now I activated when I was spotted. And then I do realize there's a destroyer to my left, so I try to get this DD. So I'm aligning my guns to the left, but keep the course at the carrier. And when the DD pops up again, I take a few shots and just to turn back to the carrier again. And here's the big advantage, with almost 50 knots full speed, you can really catch up with fleeing carriers, with fleeing ships. So I'm a bit lucky here that the carrier isn't chasing me with the planes, but he's busy elsewhere. So I use this opportunity and the island to really close the gap. And I'm thinking, how will I approach the carrier? Because in the sea cap there are multiple cruisers and ships, and they can be a problem. So if I put my guns to the left and make a right turn to engage the carrier, I will be broadside to all these ships. So I'm thinking I put my guns on the right hand side and make a left turn, but then I have only a small window, because if the carrier keeps moving, I will be shooting at his tail, and that's not the ideal situation. So you will soon see the carrier is a little bit ahead of me than what I was expecting. So I had to switch plans and turn the guns to the other side again, to the left side, and then use the torpedoes. But now you will see the real power of the rolling smoke, because I will open AP fire on the carrier. As I said earlier, AP is the strong ammunition here, and you can see how quickly the carrier is being damaged. And while the turrets get in position, I hit up the smoke, and we now have 30 seconds staying concealed, releasing the torpedoes and aligning the guns and getting broadside, because we are faster than the carrier. And yeah, finally we're gonna destroy this guy. So this is one of the few, the few moments when the rolling smoke really shines. If you know what you do in this destroyer, you can have your moments, but again, it's not consistent. You need these moments, you need the Fantask. If the Fantask would have been a sonar smoke like the Gator, it would have been much more difficult. I probably would have had to rush him. So let's say the window of opportunity in the ship is pretty tiny compared to other destroyers, which are more flexible. So I would say the skill ceiling is pretty high, because you need to develop the situation to make use of the smoke and to be lucky not being spotted or harassed by a carrier, because AA is only 25 points. So once he's on top of you, you're practically dead if you don't have a smoke left. If you have a smoke left, you use it and you can still approach your target. That's a big advantage. But in my opinion, the ship needs 3 smokes. But I tried the generic captain, and it doesn't get the speed advantage. You only get like 30, 43, 44 with the generic captain, and that's not fast enough to really give you the edge and give you the speedboat. So now with up to 50 knots, we have Terrible-like speed, and this is really interesting to ambush ships. The problem with ambushing ships is the weak torpedoes. That you have torpedoes of 11K. If you deduct, let's say, 25-30% torpedo protection from battleships, you get a net damage of maybe 8K, and average tier 6 battleships have like 50-60K. So you need to land all 8 torpedoes and hope not to hit the damage saturation to sink one ship, and then you're basically unarmed for about 90 seconds. So here I'm switching to AP again. I released the torpedoes, and I'm shooting AP at the Atlanta, and you can see how well it works. And due to my big speed, to my high speed, the Atlanta has a hard time hitting me. So here it works pretty well. If you do some left and right turns, you're pretty okay. So now I'm trying to get my engine back, and I'm just waiting for my damage control. Then I will repair the engine, and then I will have my final approach before I go in the cap and trying to get the cap, but the game is done before I get the cap. So as you can see, this game, I got a Kraken, probably unexpected in this ship, but it can perform. Again, in my opinion, it will not perform in the average game. You will have a lot of average games in this ship. You will have a harder time top of your team than you would have in other premium tier 6 destroyers. So again, if you have all of the tier 6 premium destroyers, you might want to go for it just for the fun of it, because the speed rolling smoke is interesting up to a certain point, but it's not really worth to grind this ship. Thanks for watching this review. If you have enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up, leave your comments, questions, whatever you've got. And yeah, looking forward to see you out there. Bye bye and see you next time.